Shalom, everyone. The Gemara in Kiddushin, page 25, is mentioning an elephant. And it's a really interesting question to ask ourselves, why do Chazal use an elephant? Do they know elephants in the area, in the region of Eretz Israel? So let me share the source sheets and we'll dive in. Just before we go into the sources, I brought a mosaic which is in a palace in Caesarea in Caesarea from the 6th century, and a picture of an elephant. And it's obvious that the people of Israel, of ancient Israel, and the people in the times of the Mishnah and the Talmud, they knew about elephants. They knew of elephants, and they saw some. There were not a lot of them, but definitely from the time from the Greeks coming to, marching in the land of Israel on elephants, fighting with elephants. We know that one of Matityahu's sons, Elazar, was crushed under a leg of an elephant. Chachamim, the people of Israel, knew about elephants, and there were some around, and some from Africa. And Chazal are using the elephant in two different directions. So let's look inside. Our Gemara in Kiddushin 25, Rabbi Shimon is saying, what's the way to do a kinyan, to acquire, to buy something? Some says meshicha, some say other things, and Rabbi Shimon is saying hagbaha. You need to lift the thing in order to buy it. And Rav Yosef is saying, if that is so, by what mode of acquisition can an elephant be acquired? How can you acquire an elephant? How can you make a kinyan on an elephant? Now, it's obvious that Rav Yosef knows that an elephant is a big animal that you cannot lift. Okay, so according to Rabbi Shimon, this is not going to work. So Abaya have a solution. He says, no, not in Agba'ah, not in Meshicha. You'll do it in Khalifin if it's possible. To do an exchange, but the fact that Rav Yosef, who is an Amorah in Bavel, is using an elephant as an example, it tells us that elephant is something in their mind. I mean, they've seen elephants, and when they want to talk about something big and heavy, he's using elephant. Now, there are no elephants in the Tanakh. I mean, the word elephant is not mentioned in the Tanakh. We do have mentioning of the ivory and the tusks of an elephant in Iyov, in Sefer Melachim. But the Kli Akar of Shlomo Ephraim of Lunchitz from the 17th century is mentioning elephants from a different direction. And he's saying about the ark, about Sefer Bereshit, in Sefer Bereshit chapter 6. You should build an ark. And sends a Kli Akar, in the nature way of the world, the ark will be suitable for you alone. I mean, you and your family, not people. But miraculously, it will hold all the animals, such as elephants and antelopes. Now, elephants and antelopes are not the same kind, but they are big and they are mighty elephants. And even in Europe, in Poland and in Prague, where Kli Akar lived, when he wants to imagine the biggest animal that's entering the ark, he's mentioning elephants. He's talking about pilim. In Masechet Shabbat, the Baraita is giving us 5 things that are threatening, 5 small little creatures that are threatening big creatures. And so let's read it. There are 5 dreads. Dread that the weak cast over the mighty. The dread of a mafgia, and that's a small creature over a lion, and it's bugging him, it's biting him. The dread of the mosquito over an elephant. The dread of a gecko over the scorpion, and the dread of the swallow over the eagle. And the dread of the kilbit, it's a small fish, over a whale. And we see here that when the Baraita is wanting to talk about small and big, one of the biggest things they can think about is an elephant. But it's not only big, it's mighty. It's mighty, it's strength, and no argue that elephants are very mighty and strong creatures. That's why people use them in wars. Another very interesting source is in the Midrash of Pesikta Rabbati, and this is a parable. I didn't bring you the nimshal, the meaning, just that you can hear how the Midrash of the sage is using an elephant to describe something. And it's told about a king who made a wedding for his daughter. One of his advisors said that it would be pleasant to carry her on an elephant while she sits up high in a seat and rides through the kingdom. The pictures that he sees is when you want to respect the daughter of a king, you should make her sit on an elephant. And then everyone understands that she's high above and she's more important and she's beautiful, and that is a majestic sight. Another advisor said, an elephant is too high and ugly, so the people will not see her glory or her beauty. It would be better to carry her on a horse and show her beauty through the kingdom. So it's a very interesting debate here whether an elephant is something majestic or a horse is something majestic. And another answered, elephant is high, the horse is pleasant, but neither of them have a mouth to speak or hands to clap or feet to dance. It would be better to carry her on a shoulder and show her beauty. So just to show you that when Chachamim are wanting to bring a parable of something majestic, they compare it to a horse, and definitely horses are in the Tanakh all over, and we know that the beauty of the horses of Egypt. But here, all of a sudden, we understand that Chazal also have the image of an elephant, which is big, mighty, and even majestic. But then we hear in Masechet Eruvin something very interesting. We're talking about, can we make a shaliach to make an eruv? And the Gemara says, Netanol apilvo lichol hakof. It was taught in the variety. If one gave the eruv to a trained elephant, and it brought the place where he wanted to do eruv, to eruv deposited, or if he gave it to a monkey and it brought it to the proper location, it is not a valid eruv. But if he told another person to receive it from the animal, it is a valid eruv. Okay, and two questions here. Why would anyone ever think to give an eruv to an animal to take it away? And why specifically an elephant and a monkey? And it's not the only place where we find monkey and elephant together. And we'll see it in a minute. But it's interesting, what the English have is already one of the interpretations that not only a monkey is an animal, also an elephant is an intelligent animal, and people knew it. And they felt that they can train, and we know there are trained animals. Unfortunately, we know it from circuses around the world. We know it from Asia and from Africa. You could train an elephant because they're very intelligent. So you can train them to take an eruv. But the monkey and the elephant come together. And another place, for example, in Masechet Bechorot, we have a list of animals which the Gemara believes that the pregnancy of these animals takes 3 years. And we know in nature that it's not so. It's true that elephants have the longest pregnancy from all the creatures on the ground, on the Yabasha, down in the sea. They're longer pregnancy, but the Gemara is saying the wolf, the lion, the bear, the leopard, and the bardelas, and the elephant, and the monkey, and the long-tailed ape give birth after 3 years, and corresponding go to them with regard to trees in the white fig. In other words, in the trees, the tree that gives fruit after 3 years is white fig. But nevertheless, first of all, we understand, like when we look at this line, whoever of you who went to visit, the biblical zoo in Jerusalem, all these animals are there. it's definitely part of what Chachamim saw in Eretz Israel. Some, some animals more than others, and some unfortunately were distinct throughout the ages. But here again, we find the elephant and the monkey, and the elephant and the monkey that come together is very interesting. And if in the first we saw in Eruvin, that's because we can train them to take the Eruv. We see again that Chazal are putting them together. And another interesting place that is mentioning those two names is in the Gemara in Brachot. As you see, there's the green is for the pil, and the light blue is for the kofa, but kofa is not a monkey. Kofa in Aramaic, in Aramite, is the whole of the needle. And what does the Gemara say? Rabbi Shmuel Bar Nachmani said that Rav Yochanan said a person is shown in his dream only the thoughts of his heart when he was awake. We know that today, due to Freud, but Chachamim understood that. And there's a big debate. The whole many pages in Brachot are talking about dreams and what does dream mean and what do we need to say when we wake up from a dreadful dream or a bad dream, and if we dreamed of a certain animal, a certain tree, a certain food, what does that mean, etc., etc. But we also hear Chachamim that are saying it's nothing, it's just what you thought about when you were awake. This is what you're going to dream of when you sleep. And maybe the harshest one is what Rava is saying. And Rava is saying, know that this is the case. For one is neither shown a golden palm tree nor an elephant going through the eye of the needle in a dream. In other words, dreams only contain images that enter a person's mind. Like fantasies, you can dream fantasies according to Rava. And the two examples that he gives in terms of a fantasy is a golden palm tree and an elephant, a big elephant going through the eye of a needle. And the word the eye of the needle in Aramaic is kofa. So it's an elephant and a monkey next to each other with different meaning, but it's still interesting that Rava, when he wants to describe how ridiculous it is that people think that dreams mean something, or they dream of fantastic things and they think that can come true. And he says, no, it's like dreaming about something not rational and impossible, like an elephant going through the eye of the needle. But this is not the end. And we find another place about dreams in Brachot, combining an elephant and a monkey. And it says, all types of animals are auspicious signs for a dream, except for an elephant, a monkey, and a long-tailed ape. It's good to dream of all the animals, except for an elephant and a monkey. There is a big debate whether the kofif that we saw before is a long-tailed monkey, or it's something different. But so I'm skipping that. Here it says kippah, there it says kifof, but an elephant and a monkey. And the Gemara asks, didn't the master says that we have a baraita saying a miracle will be performed from one who sees an elephant in a dream? Wait a second, you tell me that it's not good to dream about an elephant? But there's a baraita saying that something miraculous is going to happen to someone who is dreaming about a pil, about an elephant. Now I want to show you in the Hebrew that it sounds the same. Pil and pele are almost the same letters and they sound the same. So does that what caused the sage to say pil and pele, an elephant and a wonder? But nevertheless, so some say it's good, some say it's bad. Some say it's only good if the elephant is either under your control, and if it's not under your control, then it's bad. But it's both the elephant and the monkey. And when we want to start to understand a little bit of why they come together, we need to turn to Brachot Nunchet. And there the Gemara says, brings a baraita, one who sees an elephant, a monkey, or a vulture, that's what Rashi says kifof is, should bless, he needs to recite, bless he who makes creatures different. Baruch Meshaneh Beriot. Now the Gemara there is giving a list of people, of different kind of people, that we have different kinds of blessings to say, to recite. Baruch Meshaneh Beriot, about an elephant and a monkey. And the Meiri on that page is saying, Haro'eh pil v'kof ho'il v'domim le'adam b'miktzat. One who sees elephant, monkey, since they resemble humans in some manners. That's what you, in other words, there's something about the elephant and the monkey that resembles people. And that's why you say the bracha. Baruch Meshaneh, Baruch Meshaneh Aberiot. Bless he who makes creatures different. Now, in what way does monkey and elephant resembles people? Now, we understand why a monkey resembles people for many different reasons. And we also know that it's an intelligent animal. But so is the elephant. And that's another direction. And Rav Professor Shmuel Lieberman, one of the greatest scholars of Talmud in the 20th century, Zichrono Livracha, in his Tosefta Kipshuta is saying the following. The Ravad explained that these blessings are only to be said for people that he feels sorry for, and specifically people from Israel. But in the Baraita, in the Babi, that states that also on an elephant and a monkey, he should make these blessings. Perhaps the Ravid explanation is that the elephant and the monkey are expressions for giant people and for ugly people. In other words, it's not really the animals. It's just a figure of speech describing big people like the elephant and ugly people like the monkey. The notion of people then. But nevertheless, we see from the Meiri that he gives another explanation that they look like people, and that's why we need to make a bracha. There's an interesting comment here by Lieberman that in Eretz Israel they would say a camel rather than an elephant because elephants were not found in there. So, but the Chachamim in Eretz Israel, not only the Chachamim in Bavel mentions elephants. They knew about elephants, or maybe they did not see an elephant, but they saw drawings of elephants from the Hellenistic world. Okay, so what was the big animal in Eretz Israel? A camel. When we mention an elephant, that's in Bavel they knew about elephants. But nevertheless, to our topic, an elephant and a monkey, you make a blessing of Meshaneh Abriot on people that are big, huge, or ugly, according to the Ravid. But the more interesting explanation, I think, is found in Tosefta Kepshuta of Lieberman in Eruvin. And there he continues with the Meiri. And he says, in the Meiri he wrote, it was said in the Western Talmud that a person can teach them, meaning the monkey and the elephant, 70 languages. And there is no mention of this in the Yerushalmi. In other words, in Bavel, in the Meiri, it says that it's said that he saw in the Talmud Yerushalmi, in the Eretz Israel Talmud, that someone said that we say Meshaneh Beriot on elephant and monkey because they resemble people, because they're intelligent, and people used to teach them, train them to speak 70 languages. But says Lieberman, there is no source of it in our Talmud, in Talmud Yerushalmi that we have, and it seemed that it found that the Meiri found a midrash which has been lost to us. But, says Lieberman, we know it from different sources, from Hellenistic sources. The ancients told of wonders about these animals, and also Polonius, who was a nature scientist in the first century, a Roman nature scientist, and also a soldier. So Polonius tells of in his book, the Toldot Teva, the origins of the Teva, in the name of Matianus, about an elephant who wrote full sentences in Greek. That Matianus is a contemporary of Neron and Aspasianus that we know of from the time of the Second Temple. So he tells a story about an elephant who can write a full sentence in Greek, and Ilanus writes that he himself saw an elephant who wrote Roman letters with his trunk. So there is a notion in the ancient world and in the Roman world and in Eretz Israel that elephants can write in their intelligence, and maybe that's another wonder. When we say Meshaneh Briot on an elephant and a monkey, we give praise to God and this wondrous occasion of an animal which is so intelligent that we can train it. And I want to end on that note. We find in Perek Shira. Perek Shira is a long, a long song of praising each animal, and each part of nature is praising God through a different pasuk. There's a big a debate what the source of that material. That some of the traditions say it's from David HaMelech, some of the traditions say it comes from the 3rd century, and it comes from the group who started Jewish mysticism of Sifrut HaHeichalot. Some say it's much later. But nevertheless, what we find there is each animal saying praise to God, and the praise of the elephant is saying, Magadlu ma'asecha Hashem me'od amku machshevotecha. How great are your works, God. Your thoughts are tremendously deep. And I think we don't have to be an elephant in order to say Magadlu ma'asecha Hashem, but definitely to touch the wonder, to acknowledge the wonder, not only of people being intelligent and can praise God, but also the world of nature that God created, which is so unbelievably complicated and deep and able, like the monkey and like the elephant. And definitely we can say, Magadlu ma'asecha Hashem, me'od amku machshevotecha. Thank you.